about what's happening inside the hotel room based on the claims of the reporting party, which, by the way, even though she does sound a little bit circumspect about it, we have to treat it as though that's what's happening. Those are the stakes anyway, Drew.
Yeah, responding there is an issue. Like responding there is just kind of like not necessarily an issue. It's just like running through your mind. You're like, oh shit, like this is not going to be good. Like so I could tell you as a patrol deputy responding there, I'm gearing myself up for like, okay, just be ready. This guy's got guns. He's probably going to shoot. You just we've got kind of time on our side as long as there's no other victim in there. But then the wrench gets thrown in there where he's so delusional that he thinks that his wife's being, manipulated in there in some shape or form. I don't know if like a ghost is doing it or whatever. But so now we're all kind of wondering, shit, is there somebody else in the hotel room with him, or, what's going on in there? He's very clear about having guns. He's very clear about not being happy with anybody coming to the door, but he also called 911 for a reason. So now, we kind of have to be on extra guard because is this an ambush or is this him just telling us that he wants to die? You know what I mean? So all these things just kind of have to go through your mind. Like you need to gear yourself, like literally, like make sure you have the proper equipment on and everything's ready to go. You also have to get in the right frame of mind, and it probably wouldn't hurt to say a prayer or two because you don't know how you're going to come out in this thing. Then as a shift commander, I can tell you also the things that are running through my mind are like, man, we got to get in there. We already have enough to get into that room. We have the exigent circumstance of the lady, but that somebody is armed in there. So we got to figure out who's going to get a key from the hotel. We got to figure out who's how we can establish communications if he cuts off with 911, preferably somebody in the hallway or somebody from the negotiations team if we're going to call somebody out. But let's get there and evaluate what we got first. And then just little things like we need to verify if somebody's in the room. We could do interviews with the clerk to see if they saw anybody coming and going. We could figure out which car he has to see what else he's got in there. And identify him, that kind of stuff. Check out his history, his criminal history, all these things that are going to be going on. If he had a felony warrant, that would be even kind of better because now it kind of accelerates the ability to get into that hotel room a little bit quicker. But you're up against somebody that's armed, so you don't know if you're going to call the tactical team at this point, if somebody's got shields, if somebody's got tools like a RAM or whatever, if we can't get a hold of a key or a swipe card or whatever. So here we go. 3 different perspectives, patrol deputy, shift commander, and 911 operator.
It's 14 caller stating he sees the door moving now and is about to shoot.
So that's unnerving. He sees the door moving, and if he sees the door move, he's going to shoot. And that pretty much says, okay, the minute we try to open the door, he's going to shoot. We just don't know for sure if he has a gun in there or not. He's only said that he has a gun.
Just units 14 on 13 incident. Caller is speaking with someone in the background and is also rambling for the call taker who is still landline. No additional.
Okay. Rambling, signs of incoherence.
Airman's 10-3, just units 14. Caller states he has a 9mm in his hand and another on the bed.
Okay, all of these little bits of information that they're coming at you quickly now because they were edited together by the agency, and then I kind of briefly separated them just so we could talk in between. But I'm sure that these are maybe a minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds apart, like different times apart, and all of this stuff just adds to the processing. Like you're flying at warp speed trying to get there. You're trying not to run people off the road, and at the same time, you're having to run people off the road. Because you're thinking of the safety of the person that may be in there and the other guests in that hotel. This could turn into an active shooter very quickly. This is a volatile situation. This guy's telling you he wants to harm people. He's telling you he's armed. All the indicators are there. So, all of this information, it's good that it trickles in because it just kind of adds to the stew, but the stew's already bubbling. Any observations, John?
On your preparation, you mentioned earlier checking history. If the guy's local in town, check 911 history to see if he's had a history of psychotic behavior, calls where he's threatening to harm himself, others barricading himself, anything like that. If he's not from here, which is a distinct possibility since he's staying in a hotel, if you have the time, if this really turns into a protracted incident, you might try to figure out where he's from, talk to the people at the hotel, see if they've got his information on file from his payment or whatever. Maybe even contact a PSAP from wherever he's located. You might be able to get some good intel that way. With a situation like this and a female being inside, though, like I said, that really raises the stakes, and you have to act very quickly. You're going to want to be negotiating, establishing voice contact as soon as possible. These dispatchers, in a way, are already doing that, but they're saying that he's being not incoherent. He's not being helpful. And when she says no additional, what she's saying is that there's no more helpful information at this point. We're still talking to him. We haven't learned anything that helps the police at all. Drew.
So just something else to bear in mind. Just something to put on the list is that if the woman is in there, the encouraging thing is that he's more worried that somebody is hurting her. So it's like he has a protective stance over her, not necessarily a harmful stance over her. So
the dispatcher should say, send her out. We've got an ambulance outside ready to help her right now. If it's literally just the two of them and he seems to be in a protective stance, whether or not she's really having something happen to her, if you can convince him to send her out, that's huge. I mean, whatever happens to this guy at this point, you got to remember he's the one that's starting it. So we want to preserve life whenever we can. But if she's in there, if she's barricaded inside the hotel, if she's a hostage or whatever, getting her out is huge. So if we can convince him to do that, that would be the main goal of talking to him on the phone.
In retrospect, I wish I had the 911 call because I guarantee that dispatcher did it amazing. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed that clip, and if you did, leave us a comment, and if you didn't, leave us 2 comments. Either way, you can go to our YouTube page at the Comm Center and see the full video. I hope you go there. I hope you become a member. If you want to follow along with everything we do, go to our website, which is thecommcenter.com.